Hello, dear learners. Welcome to our course, Foreign Language. In this lesson, we are going to be looking at the topic Rules and Customs. So, the aim of the lesson to develop language, communicative and cultural competences, critical thinking and creativity, to enlarge vocabulary related to the topic Rules and Customs, to improve speaking and writing skills. Objectives of the lesson: to identify definitions of terms, a rule and a custom, to study key features of rules and customs, to define the differences between rules and customs, to explain use of modal and related verbs, to point out types of phrasal verbs. So, students, what comes to your mind when you hear the word a rule? Can you give me your definition of this word? Now let's give definition. A rule is a guideline or instruction that tells people what they are allowed or not allowed to do in a specific situation. So, about custom. What's about custom? How can you define this word? Yeah. So let's give definition. A custom is something people usually do because it's part of their culture or tradition, not because they have to. A custom is a way of doing things that people in a group or society usually follow because it's a shared traditional cultural practice, not because it's required by law. Now let's compare main features of rules and customs. On your screen, you can see a clear and concise comparison of the main features of rules and customs. Main features of rules are as following: made by authorities. Rules are created by someone in charge, such as a teacher, parent, organization, or government. Then second, written and clear. Rules are usually written down and clearly explained so people know what is expected. Third, must be followed. People are expected to obey rules. Not following them can lead to consequences or punishments. Fourth, apply to specific places or groups. Rules are used in schools, homes, workplaces, routes, or countries. Fifth, have consequences. Breaking a rule can lead to penalties like warnings, fines, or other punishments. Sixth, designed to keep order. Rules help keep people safe, organized, and respectful of one another. Now let's point out main features of customs. The first one, passed down through tradition. Customs shared practices or behaviors that come from culture and are passed from one generation to another. The second one, not written or official. Customs are usually not written as formal laws or rules, but people follow them out of habit or respect. 3. Followed voluntarily. People choose to follow customs because they are part of their community or culture, not because they are forced. 4th, part of daily life and celebrations. Customs include things like greetings, eating habits, holiday celebrations, and ways of dressing. 5th, help build cultural identity. Customs help people feel connected to their history, community, and traditions. 6th, may vary between cultures. Customs are different around the world and depend on religion, history, and local beliefs. In short, rules are official, made by authorities, and must be followed. Customs are traditional, cultural practices followed by choice. On this slide, you can see a clear and simple comparison to define the differences between rules and customs. First, concerning definition. Rules, instructions that must be followed in certain places. Customs, traditional ways of behaving shared by a group. The second, created by rules. Created by. Rules created by authorities, for example, parents, teachers, governments, and customs created by communities or cultures over time. The third, purpose. The purpose of rules is to maintain order, safety, and fairness, and the purpose of customs is to express cultural values, identity, or beliefs. The fourth, followed because rules are followed because they are required and enforced, and customs are followed because they are respected and expected but not enforced. Fifth, consequences. Concerning rules, breaking rules often leads to punishment, and concerning customs, not following customs may seem rude or disrespectful. The sixth, examples, rules, don't litter, obey traffic lights, and concerning customs, shake hands when meeting, celebrate holidays. Students, it's about our grammar, this slide. And in this slide, we have given information for you about modal verbs, one of the very important verbs in English. Why important? Because there are some rules for modal verbs, which they have to obey. First, modal verbs do not need any kind of a third person singular ending s, and also modal verbs do not need auxiliary words like do, You don't need to say I do not can speak English, I can't speak English, or you don't need to say I do not can swim. You can just say I can't swim. So when we use modal verb can, in order to say about our abilities, whether it is mental or physical, for example, I can swim, I can count from 1 to billion in Arabic, I can dance, I can ride a horse, I can drive a car, I can climb, and permission. For example, you may ask your friend, can I use your mobile phone? But here, in a case of permission, you have to keep in mind that the person whom you are asking a permission to do something must be your close friend, must be someone of your age, or must be someone whose social status is similar to yours. In other cases, it will sound in a not polite manner. So could, past ability, polite request. I could run fast when I was young. It can be, this message can be addressed from an old man. From an old man. A person at his 70s may say, I could run fast when I was younger, when I was like 20 years ago. But now I cannot run so fast. I even can't, jump, or some kind of easy activities because of my age, Such kind of sentence may be said by a person who is older, who is old, who is 70 years old, and so on. May, when we use may when we speak about permissions, and we speak about possibilities, For permission, in a official, in a formal way, may come in, may go out, may talk with my friend, may I use your mobile phone. Possibility, it may be John, must, when and why we use must? We use must in a case of strong obligation, in a case of deduction. You must wear a seat belt. You must be tired. Yeah. You must answer to my calls when I'm making a phone call to you, because I do not call for if it's not so important. Yeah. And shall, yeah, about suggestions and future. Shall we dance? And should we use when we are giving advice, and about willingness. Yeah. Expectation. Yeah, expectation. For example, you should see your doctor. Yeah, if someone speaks about his problem, that he had a headache these days, that he had kind of he feels himself or herself tired a lot. Yeah, you can say you should go and see your doctor. You should do more exercises if you want to be stronger. Yeah. Then will, when you want to speak about future and willingness. I will call you later. Would, when we want to make a polite offer and in unreal situations. Yeah, I would love to go. If I were rich, I would travel. Yeah. Then we have related verbs. Yeah, have to. We use when to speak about necessity, obligation. I have to do my homework. It means that I need to do my homework. And then need to, necessity. Yeah, you need to drink more water. Then ought to, advice, moral duty. Yeah, like you ought to apologize. Be able to, ability. I'm able to solve this. Used to speak about past habits or states. I used to live in London when I was younger. Yeah, in Canada. Sorry. Types of phrasal verbs. Students, pay attention to this list. Yeah, to this slide, to this diagram, because it gives information about types of phrasal verbs. They are literal. These phrasal verbs have meanings you can easily understand from the individual words. Their meanings are clear and direct. Come in, sit down. Idiomatic. These phrasal verbs have a meaning that is different from the meanings of the individual words. And their meaning not obvious. Like give up, break down. Separable. In this you can separate the verb and the practice by placing the object in between. Usually idiomatic. Turn off the light, turn it off. Yeah. So, and the last type of the phrasal verbs are inseparable. Inseparable. Yeah. You cannot separate the verb and the particle. Often idiomatic. Its meaning: look after the baby. So, my dear students, here you have given some quotations about customs. I will read some of them. Customs is the great guide of human life. When in Rome, do as Romans do. So, students, here we have given you questions. Please press the pause button and try to answer to these questions. Yeah, try to answer to these questions, relying on the knowledge which you have learned from this video lesson. My dear students, here we have given you a task. Yeah, please get acquainted with the instruction of this task by pressing pause button and do this task. And research project. Please, students, pay attention to the instruction of this research project and do it. Yeah. If you need, please, you may press pause button. And students, here let's conclude our lesson. The definition of the terms a rule and a custom were identified. Key features of a rule and custom were studied. The differences between rules and customs were defined. The use of modal and related verbs was explained. Types of phrasal verbs were pointed out. So, my dear students, here you can see the list of references. You may get more information about this lesson from the list of these references. Goodbye, my dear students.